Hello guys, this is a review of the movie The Man in the Moon, not to be confused with Jim Carrey's version Man on the Moon. This movie was released in the early 1990s and I believe it's Reese Witherspoon's debut film, so it's amazing. Since the cast is listed here, so accessible, I'm just going to name them all. Sam Waterson, Tess Harper, Gail Strickland, Jason London, and Emily Warfield. Amazing cast, an amazing movie. Let me just name the primary characters and point to them. This is Kurt, this is Dani, and this is Maureen. And that's their dad. So they live with their dad, their mom, their little sister, and I mean Maureen and Dani, as well as the new baby that's in their mother's womb. And Kurt is a son of a family friend who returns to the countryside after a while away because the mom of Kurt, the father of Kurt, dies, and they come back along with his two little brothers. This movie takes place in Louisiana in the 1950s, and here is how it plays out. So Dani is not your typical girl. She's not your stay-at-home wife to be, and I'm just going to do all my responsibilities and be a lady. She's a little more wild, a little more outspoken and free. She likes to go swimming in the lake nearby their home, and naked. She likes to go swim naked. That's a very interesting point. Her sister is in high school. She's dating this guy who doesn't really appreciate her, who only wants her for her body, and it's pretty obvious, by the way. Spoilers ahead. There's always spoilers in my reviews, just in case. And one sunny day, their mom's friend, the one with Kurt and the little kids, comes back, and he decides to go for a swim. You know how, like, even though your neighbors back in the day, and especially in the countryside, you have like such a long distance. Well, in their chunks of land, they share this common like pond or like little lake. And he goes there for a swim, and he sees her. He's like, what are you doing here? This is private property. And he says, well, what are you doing here? He's like, this is my home. And it is his home. She was actually, it is shared piece of land, but I believe that specific part was owned by the neighbors, which is like Kurt's family. And they don't get along at all, and she just dresses up and heads back home. And then she realizes that the neighbors are there, and she sees Kurt, and I believe they're having a cookout. I don't remember. Oh, this is the disc. It's not that plain, but nothing like too extravagant. They head back home, both of them, and they need ingredients for something that they're cooking, so their dad sends both of them, and they actually get along. They bond, and she shares gum with them. They're always arguing with themselves. It's like, you're just a little girl, and she's like, well, you're not very much older than me. And from there, in her heart, their relationship blossomed. But for him, it was more of a friendship, literally just the kid. At some point in the future, even after they Dani and Kurt had shared a lot of well, not a lot, but several, we could say, play dates and swimming time, Maureen finally meets Kurt and is just taken aback by his presence and the way he is, and he's taken aback by her beauty and the way she is, and they commence a relationship. Obviously, Dani is angry, devastated. She feels betrayed. Like, there's such an involving scene. It doesn't leave you out at any minute in the movie. There's a part where Dani asks her sister if she knows what does it feel when you kiss somebody, and then the sister goes ahead and tells her, and it's just like very intimate. It's almost like you're the intruder in their home. because it's that close. There's this day, fast forward the aforementioned, and Kurt is off working in his land. He's obviously trying to follow his dad's lead now that he's gone. He's trying to take care of his family and be the provider. So he's working the field. He gets on a tractor and leaves his hat on a tree branch. Because it's super hot, he makes a few rounds, and then he decides to get his hat back, but he doesn't quite reach, and he falls, and the tractor, I don't know if this is a correct term, but it's one of those I don't know if it's to I don't know, plowing machines, and he gets caught under there and logically passes away. And you could imagine, like, now Dani maybe had the hope that she could stay with him, or I don't know, maybe eventually you could talk things out. But what happens when your sister takes the guy you love and now you're mad at her, very, very, like, mad at her, and the love of your life passes away. So now there's like no chance, you know, to fix things up the way that you could have if he was alive. She's just having such a hard time dealing with that. I forgot to mention that at one point she even like runs out in the middle of the night to meet up with Kurt, and everybody's worried. Well, nobody knows that she's out, but when like they wake up, they're like, what's going on? Because it was a very stormy night, and her mom wakes up and she's pregnant. She runs, she falls, they blame it on her. There's a lot of like drama going on in between that doesn't really pertain to the main plot points, but it just adds to the whole family feel of the movie. Anyway, after the passing of Kurt, which is so sad, they Dani and her dad go fishing, and he talks to her. He's like, you know, she's always going to be your sister. This is hard for you. Imagine how hard it is for her. You know, she was actually in the relationship. She wasn't just making it up in her brain. And she actually takes the advice, and she talks to her, and they figure things out and forgive each other. And I'm just seeing it. If only you guys could watch it, because this is like a really good film. And that's the end of the plot. I remember watching this, oh, I wouldn't say by accident, but I wasn't searching for it. Unlike most of my other reviews where I either went to a theater or went to Walmart and bought the actual disc, I was watching television many years ago. I wasn't in a very good state of mind, so I would just flip through the channels, watch whatever. And one of my favorite channels, I didn't have cable, was this. I don't know if this is still on, but their slogan is like, it doesn't get any better than this. It's pretty cool. And they play like a lot of 80s movies, 90s movies, beautiful, beautiful films. And on one occasion, early in the morning, I remember watching it, and it just stuck with me forever. And it took me many years to actually find this, and it wasn't hard to find, but I just didn't really have access to a credit card, so I couldn't buy it on, you know, online. But now I have my hands on it, and I think I bought it maybe last year. Amazing film, I recommend it. The acting is so amazing. I am not surprised that, you know, Reese is the actress that she is now, because she demonstrated it here very early on. And everyone else, I don't really know or haven't followed their careers necessarily, but I'm pretty sure that they also had a very good career, if I was to base my opinion on what I saw in this movie. The musical score is lovely, very fitting. The director, everybody as usual did an amazing job, so credit to everybody. I highly recommend it. My rating is probably 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching.